I have restarted this video several times trying to record it, trying to figure out what I wanted to say. And it sucks even having to make a video like this, but I feel like I kind of need to at this point. So I'm just going to start off by saying flipping animals sucks. If you do it, you suck too. It's not an okay practice. And there is some sort of a gray area with flipping. You know, there's the people that get a snake relatively cheap or for free and flip it and immediately try to make profit off of it. And there's also the people that are maybe acquiring an entire collection and let's say half the snakes they don't need, which they end up selling to somebody else. I mean, technically both of those things are flipping. But I'm not trying to be the moral police here of the ball python hobby, but there is a moral aspect to each one of those things. Because the person who's buying a snake or getting a snake cheap or for free and immediately trying to sell it, it's probably part of a pattern where that's all they're trying to do is buy and sell and flip snakes. And that coincides with probably that person's inability to care for those animals or willingness to properly take care of those animals. Whereas somebody who's buying an entire collection actually has the desire, usually, I mean, there's obviously scenarios where people buying collections are probably flipping as well. But in general, people that are buying entire collections actually want those animals and want to take care of them. It's just that some of those animals don't fit their needs, so they end up selling them off. But those people are typically well versed in taking care of those animals. They do take care of those animals until they're sold, and have the animal's interests in mind. Somebody that's only looking to make a quick buck off of an animal is what I consider to be a flipper. Somebody that either isn't very well versed in taking care of the animals, somebody that doesn't do a good job of maintaining or caring for their animals, and is only looking to make $1 or $2, is what I consider to be somebody that is an animal flipper, or in this case, a ball python flipper. Okay, so why am I talking about this right now? Well, if any of you follow me, and for those of you that don't, I'll explain this as well. Over the course of October, November, and into the first week of December, I was running a Patreon event where, I was selling hatchlings or adults, and anybody that bought a certain price point animal was get a free raffle entry to win a banana urban camo male plus I think a silver streak female from me. They were adults. The female was like a proven 13 egg layer. The banana urban camo was only one of 2 banana urban camos ever listed, and that he wasn't even actually listed because I wasn't selling him. I was putting him as part of the giveaway. And the other one that did sell sold for $10,000. So those 2 animals were part of a grand prize for everybody that took part in my sales event from October through November into the first week of December. A lot of great people joined my Patreon during that time. They bought some awesome animals from me at that time, and they were all very excited to be involved in this giveaway for the banana camo. Now you might ask, why was I willing to try to give away a $10,000 or potentially $10,000 snake? Well, I didn't have any use for that project anymore. I'm not working the camo project, and I thought, well, this is a good way to help me marketing-wise to build a good customer base and to give somebody else a chance to kind of get into a mid-range, higher-end project and get on the ground running and hopefully help them build up their business and make some killer snakes. Because let's be honest, at this point, there's so many people in the industry, and obviously there's a lot of people getting out right now, but having a project that's mid to high range where you're producing awesome snakes that people want really gets your name out there. I produced camos a couple years back. I produced lightning pieds last year, true lightning pieds, which are MJ Xanthic pieds, And people love them, and it got me a lot of recognition at that time. So I thought, raffling off these 2 snakes, giving somebody the opportunity to, make their own camos or banana camos and potentially have a nice payday at the end of all that, plus get some cool snakes, was going to be a really major kickstart to one of these, breeders' breeding plans and businesses. So I had multiple people, obviously, in this raffle. I think I had maybe 20 or so different people, and I believe there was like 30 or so raffle entries because some people bought multiple animals. And I did the raffle live through my Patreon, like the first week of December, or maybe the first weekend in December, and one of, the people won. Unfortunately, the whole reason I'm making this video is that I think within a week or so, this person was already trying to flip and sell these animals on MorphMarket. And I'll post a picture here of what the listing is. Unfortunately, they're also obviously only trying to make a quick buck off of it, because the last time a banana camo was listed by itself, it was listed for $10,000. Obviously, they're not selling for 10 grand anymore, because of where the market is. But this guy is selling these snakes for $2,000, which includes the female. He never expressed any concerns that he wasn't able to take care of these animals. He just basically received them free through this giveaway and decided, I don't want these. I'm just going to turn around and sell them to somebody else for a cheap monetary gain. And that's where I have the issue with this. This person never said to me, hey, you know what? I can't take care of these. And he did actually express this in the Patreon Instagram group that I have. Hey, maybe I'll post a link to it here, or a photo of it here, just to show you exactly what he said. But it was something along the lines of, I'm kind of new in the hobby. I don't really know what to do with these guys. If anybody wants to grab these, you can take them from me. He actually offered them to anybody in the Patreon for $100. And when I said to him, look, I said, you can't just turn around and sell these guys. Send them back to me, and I will re-raffle them to somebody else in my Patreon. I said, but these are $10,000 snakes. You can't just sell them for $100. You're basically insane. And this person basically cut off all contact. He listed the animals. Apparently, quite a few people in my Patreon and outside of my Patreon actually saw these listings, contacted me directly, or even reported this listing to MorphMarket. I don't know if the first listing was deleted or went inactive or was flagged by MorphMarket and take it down. But then a second listing was created today, which is the 19th. And I guess somebody else reported it again, and MorphMarket contacted me directly asking, hey, some people said you gave these animals away as part of a giveaway. And maybe I'll post that text here as well, because I can't remember exactly what I said. And I said, I did give them away. It's not a scam. I mean, he actually does own these animals, but I voiced my concerns as to the context in which he's actually selling these things. And I haven't heard back from MorphMarket at this time. Maybe by the time this video posts, I will, and maybe I'll post that information here, as well. But I basically said to them, hey, I don't agree with this. This guy's obviously flipping these animals. I've asked him to return these animals, or at least allow me to re-raffle these animals and send them to somebody who actually wants them, rather than you trying to sell them and make a quick buck. So hopefully MorphMarket, is falls on the side of, hey, this isn't okay. We're not okay with flipping animals. Do something else with them, or get off the platform. So long story short, it just sucks. I mean, if you're flipping animals, if you're taking an animal right away, and just immediately trying to sell it and get rid of it, you suck. I mean, you suck. That's not necessarily even safe for the animal. I don't think you understand how much stress that puts on the animal. shipping an animal puts stress on the animal in the first place. You know, I'm taking animals out of these racks and I'm packaging them in a box. I am driving them to FedEx. FedEx is hopefully handling these boxes carefully, putting them in a plane. They're riding a plane to wherever their destination is. Actually, they're stopping at one of the hubs first. Then they're getting on another plane and going to wherever their destination is. They're sitting in the box even longer. They're sitting in the facility. They're waiting to be picked up. Sometimes they're in the boxes for upward almost 24 hours by the time I wrap them up and they actually get to where they're going and somebody picks them up. It puts a ton of stress on these animals. Some of them actually do start to exhibit issues from respiratory infections that may have been underlying because of how stressful it can be to some of these animals. So it's not, you might think of it as a plane ride for you, you know, like a fun plane, but it's not. They're trapped in a box, in a snake bag for sometimes 24 hours. It's very stressful on these animals. So when you're flipping these things, these animals, these living creatures, you're putting them through the stress of travel. Maybe sometimes even you're buying them at local shows, who cares? And then you're doing it to them again, usually in a short period of time. Because if you're trying to flip these animals, you're not buying it at a set price and then trying to sell it for a minimal gain. If you're buying animals, you're trying to buy them super cheap and trying to sell them to make at least a decent margin there of cash. So you're trying to get rid of them quick, and you're trying to sell them fast, and you're trying to sell them to make some monetary gain. And you're putting these animals through double the stress that they should be going through. And it's just a crappy situation. You know, the whole reason I did this event and raffled off these 2 snakes was because I was hoping it would go to somebody. My plan was for that pair to go to somebody who would actually use them and appreciate them. I did this out of goodwill for people. I had good intentions with it. And this guy basically immediately took it and warped it and turned it into something nasty and disgusting. And there's no place for that in this hobby. People that flip animals like that suck. I know they're technically his property now, but he's basically burning bridges left and right at this point because I don't want anything to do with him. Everybody in my Patreon's pissed off. Anybody that's mentioned it to me is pissed off that somebody would do that. It just plain sucks. So if you do flip animals, please stop. It's not okay. It stresses out these animals. You're not making enough money to make it worth the money and the time and the stress of the animals to do it. If you're only flipping animals, I can guarantee you're not taking care of them either. You're willing to stop and think to make sure that you're taking care of these animals properly, not just trying to make a quick buck. If you want to make a quick buck, flip something else. Flip electronics. Flip something that doesn't actually have a heartbeat. I mean, like, seriously. If you do come across this listing, please do not buy these animals. I'm hoping by the time this video posts that MorphMarket already takes it down. I don't know where they're going to fall on a decision with this. I didn't actually report the listing myself. I actually don't know who did, but apparently multiple people did from what MorphMarket said. But I did tell them, I did voice my concerns to MorphMarket when they contacted me. So I'm hoping that they take this ad down, and I'm hoping they have some sort of a firm response to the seller telling him that this is not okay. You do it again, you're banned, or something like that. Because this is really a precedent that they should set, that it's not a part of the industry and nobody should be doing it. So that's it. I don't know what else to say about this. It's funny, I was pissed off when I saw that it happened. Obviously, I'm still pissed off. Because this guy literally had them listed on MorphMarket within a couple days or a week of actually receiving these animals. Never once told me that, I don't know if I should take these or not. Never once said to me, hey, do you know what, do you just want to take these back, or maybe we give them to somebody else? He immediately just listed them. It was basically apparent from the get-go that he was trying to make a monetary gain from this and nothing else. And so I'm obviously still pissed off about it. I honestly thought I'd have more to say than what I've said in this video, but I'm kind of at a loss for words at this point. So, you know, this is, I think, something that is a good thing to discuss in this hobby. I don't think people understand the consequences of what flipping can do and what even buying from a flipper can do. At the end of the day, it really is a moral thing. What's right and what's wrong. If you buy something, whether it's an animal, a living thing, or an inanimate object, let's say electronics, it's your property. If you buy it, it's your property. You're free to do with it, whatever you want. But shouldn't there be certain boundaries? Like, shouldn't you have to work within a certain space about, what you should and shouldn't be doing with it? And in this case, with animal flippers, I think most people that have seen or known animal flippers would probably say that those people don't take very good care of their animals. They probably live in really crappy conditions. They probably aren't fed well. They probably don't have clean water. There's maybe even mites or diseases in those facilities. I'm not saying that's everybody, but I'm saying I would have to say if somebody's looking to make $15, $20, $100 off an animal just by buying it and selling it real quick, that they're probably not taking care of those animals very well. And those aren't the type of people that you want to do business with. And you don't want to propagate that behavior, meaning you don't want to keep feeding into that. You don't want to keep giving people that money, because all it's telling them is, hey, you know what? Flipping works. I can do this. I'm going to keep doing it. I'm going to do more of it. If I can buy these animals super cheap and I can resell them, and that's my only intention, I'm not going to take care of. And it's the same reason you guys don't like pet stores or pet store animals, because they don't take care of them. If you go to a Petco, how many posts do you see where they're not taking care of these animals, or they're like basically dying in these cages? They don't take care of them. Petco, pet stores in general, I would say most of them are animal flippers too. They don't take care of those animals, which is why we always say to you guys, don't go buy your pets at pet stores. Buy them from breeders, because 9 times out of 10, a breeder is actually taking care of their animals. Everything in here is taken care of. I'm cleaning water all the time. I'm cleaning the feces out of there all the time. They get fed all the time. They're taken care of. They're healthy animals. They don't have infections. They don't have any diseases. I take care of them. Every single one of these snakes, whether I'm keeping them or selling them, I take care of them like they're mine, like they're part of my collection. Petco doesn't care, because they're paying you, if you're wholesaling your animals there, pennies on the dollar for a snake or for a lizard or for whatever. And they're selling it for a ton of money. They're flipping those animals. They're selling a normal ball python for probably 5 times more than you'd ever be able to sell a normal ball python for, because you're paying retail prices. They're flipping those animals, and they don't care about them. It's just a business. The difference between a breeder like me and a pet store, let's say like Petco, is they sell a lot of stuff. They sell animal accessories, they sell aquariums, they sell animals, they sell animal foods. So those animals aren't like a primary money-making thing for them. So, if they're buying them for pennies on the dollar, and they sell them for a good profit, if 1 or 2 of them die, they don't care. I care about animals. I'm in this hobby because I love these animals. I'm in this industry because it's my interest. It's my hobby. It's the thing I love to do. And these animals are important to me, not only because they do make me money and because they are valuable, but because I love them all individually. I know the personalities of every single animal in this rack. I know which ones I can touch and hold, and I know which ones will try to bite my face off. I spend time with them every single day. I know them. They're important to me for multiple reasons, not just for money. And that's the difference between what a flipper is doing and what somebody who actually cares for these animals is doing. So you don't want to keep buying and spending money with flippers. If people stopped buying animals from Petco, they'd stop selling them, because they have a million other things in those stores they can sell that make them money. I bet you those animals probably don't even make them money. But when you buy a ball python from Petco, you're also buying the aquarium. And you're also buying the undertake heater. And you're also buying the accessories. And you're also buying the frozen rodents. That's where they make their money. So stop giving them the money. These flippers that are just out to flip snakes, stop giving them money. Because once you start giving them money and they're flipping snakes, especially if you know they're flipping them, they're going to keep doing it. Because they're going to see this as a get-rich-quick scheme. This guy basically paid $0 for these snakes. And he's going to make $2,000 profit. I spent a ton of money to produce these snakes. I've held on to them for 2 years, and I've made $0 off of them. And this guy is basically going to make $2,000 profit off of all of my hard work. That's bullshit.